La scorsa estate sono stato in vacanza in Germania, sono andato a visitare la fabbrica di Key Audio vicino al confine olandese. Insieme a Chris, che è il CEO, vi porto in un tour che parte dal prodotto grezzo, arriva fino alla spedizione, passando da assemblaggio e misurazione.
I'm going to show you the electronic compartment of a BXT. It's quite impressive. These are PU cabinets, a special kind of polyurethane that is extremely sturdy, way harder than wood and way less resonant than wood. That little board that she just is mounting right now is a quad-core CPU, very powerful one. Yeah, welcome to the Key Audio Factory, guys. Hello, ciao Italia, ciao ragazzi. I want to run you through the whole factory process a little bit and show you around. And we're going to start right here. As you guys might know, our speakers are not made out of wood, which means that we have a very clean factory here. We don't have to have any wood processing, no veneering, no polishing of any sort. So this is really nice. This is a Key 3 cabinet, as you can see. They come from our vendor like this, so they're already painted. They're perfect. This is the QC department where the stuff comes in. And the guys check if everything is okay with the paint, if all the measures are right, and then they go over to the production. Many people ask us, why are we not building in wood like everyone else in the industry almost? There's a reason for that, and that is scalability. So in wood, you have to basically start making every cabinet from scratch, from wood. You have to polish it, there's a lot of manual work involved. You have to glue it and then wait, and so on and so on. The process is pretty, let's say, lengthy until the cabinet is even ready to get the electronics or to get the drivers in. Here, this is totally different. We QC them and they're ready to be assembled. It's a very automotive kind of manufacturing that we have, where everything comes in from the different vendors and we make the final product. I'll show you that later. So these are PU cabinets, polyurethane. A special kind of polyurethane that is extremely sturdy, way harder than wood and way less resonant than wood. That's one of the reasons. And as I said, we can order as many as we want and as many as the market wants and scale up way easier than anyone who has to put a lot of handwork on it. It's also very heavy, which is of course good for the resonances or the non-existent resonances. So as you see, there's two halves. There's a seam here. It's pretty obvious. And you can also see it back here. So that's two halves that are being glued together and then grinded up and then painted. And that's the concept that we have been using for since the beginnings, for 10 years now. And it's still the same tool that we bought back in 2015. So, and we made thousands of Key 3s out of that. So, and then if you understand a little bit about production, about manufacturing, at the beginning, the cost is high. Over time, it gets less and less and less because the write-off is of course there. This is a Key 3, as you know. This is a fine touch white one of our latest colors. And then we have one of our BXTs here, same technology, and you can see it again. It's also two halves that are glued together and painted. This is a graphite one. So let's walk around a little bit and see how the cabinet looks without any paint, because as you know, we are making 12 different custom colors or special colors like the red, the green, the bronze, and so on. These are painted locally, and this is the pure unpainted cabinet. It's a brown, but that doesn't matter because this is going to be painted for a customer in the color that he wants. So in this hall, we basically have goods arrivals and shipping. This is where everything happens, where it's been packed, it's over here is a packing station. Here is a wrapping station where we palletize, because we ship everything on pallets, and they are put on pallets here, and then they're wrapped with the famous black foil and go out into the world. We ship to 40 different countries. Let's go over and have a look at the production itself. So this is the second hall. Here we are having mainly Key 3 and BXT production. We can check out a couple of white BXTs here that are in the making. They're getting their cables in, and woofers come later. And here you see there's a lot of partly finished stock of Key 3s. I'm going to show you the electronic compartment of a BXT. It's quite impressive. This is how it looks. And as you see, for those who know electronics, these are 2 Hypex power supplies in one speaker, and there's also 2 Purify amp boards in here, because we have a lot of power to handle and a lot of drivers to drive. Now to the most important part, which is exactly behind you, is this relatively unsexy device. And this is a hoist. And you can see there's a microphone here, and you can also see a microphone up here. Right, so Key 3s and Key 7s are measured and hoisted up. First of all, hoisted up, then they're measured, and we find out what the frequency response is, and then we correct the frequency response to be very flat, plus minus 0.5 dB, and the DSP in the system gets that EQ curve. So at the end of the day, all speakers sound exactly the same. May it be one from 2017 or one from today, they're all have the same sonic properties, which is really, really rare in hi-fi. That is the measuring device, and we have a specially built measuring computer for doing that, which Bruno developed. Let's walk over next hall. So this little bit smaller of a hall we dedicated newly for the Key 7 production. As you see, there's a lot of speakers on the desks right now. They're almost all finished. What we're doing here is, of course, putting the electronics in. I'm going to show you an electronic cage. You might know this from other pictures. That's the back panel of the Key 7. There is an analog board in there. There's a digital board in there and a power supply, all in this little piece. And it's a Faraday cage because it is a Wi-Fi speaker. As you see, there are also antennas here for Wi-Fi. That little board that she just is mounting right now is a quad-core CPU, very powerful one, which handles all the streaming, all the Tidal, Cobus, and Spotify streaming, plus all the Cardioid dispersion mathematics about it, and of course the Wi-Fi connection, and so on. Over here, we have more of those BXT back panels. BXTs are selling extremely well, and we need a lot of electronics. This is a very complicated product. You know that the Key 3 and the BXT can be, or the Key 3 can be extended by a BXT, and then once that happens, once the BXT is connected to the Key 3 and the BXT are a new system, basically. It's not a subwoofer, it is an extension, and the software in the Key 3 runs on a different software stack. So because we have more drivers and everything has to be managed differently when the BXTs are present. It's very important to know this is not a subwoofer that just plays from a certain frequency on downwards, but it does all the mid-range dispersion that we have that makes the system so amazingly directly sounded, and the cardioid is even stronger than in the Key 3 alone. You've all seen these controllers that are coming with the systems usually. So we are selling, let's say 95% of all our sales are always with this controller because it functions as a preamp. Yeah, and the preamp is necessary to connect different sources. There's a connector in the back of the speakers which can take analog or digital signals, and there's USB, Toslink for your TV. There is a USB, of course, that we need for connecting streamers on this, and there's a volume control and input switching, just like your normal preamp would be, but just in a very, very small little package. This is an IR window, so it can be controlled by an IR device, like typically this one. Everyone has one of these, so this can be used, for example, for volume control and input switching on the key control. Over here, last but not least, is our DSP department, I want to say, where we are testing DSPs when they come in from our vendors. Do they work? And test amps and program our devices to the latest firmware. That's where this is happening. There's different electronic pieces coming in here that we have to QC. For instance, there's a key control board. Yeah, and here we have the newest Key 3 DSP version. It looks like this. From the Key 7, it was maybe a fourth of that size. So this is a Key 3 design, which is a few years old, but it has still been updated in the meanwhile. Many people do not know that, but the Key 3 itself has evolved quite some over the years. We had different DSPs on it, we had different DACs on it, we had different amps in the Key 3 when we started, so it still looks like the same product, but inside everything has changed over the years. So this is important to know, and we don't make a big fuss out of it because we think the Key 3 itself is a statement product, and we don't want to do Mark 1, 2, and 3 and so on all the time. We just keep on improving on the inside, and then you have a very long-living product. That was it. Thanks for listening for this to this little walkthrough, and mille grazie.
Thank you.